Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your daily Chelsea news. Today we have a video that has got a variety of different things. Chelsea could still be facing a points deduction or transfer ban. We talk about Moises Caicedo and how good he was yesterday considering it was a very boring 0-0 draw. We talk about our away record in the Premier League within the last 10 games. Manchester United are after the same summer transfer target as Chelsea, and we also talk about some stats regarding Wesley Fofana. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025. So kicking things off, we have a report from Chelsea saying a fine midfield display from Moises Caicedo was enough for him to be voted as Chelsea's player of the match from our draw with Brentford. What a game. I did a complete match reaction on this channel yesterday. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I vent some frustrations. I asked the question, is it time for Maresca to go? I know a lot of Chelsea fans have been in that camp for a while. I've been a very optimistic, very positive Chelsea fan like I always have. And I was still very much Maresca in, but yesterday's result really got my head spun because the lineup was just wild. The game was dross. The only impact on the game, the only positives on the game was Moises Caicedo being consistently amazing. And we're so lucky to have him. Chelsea have been blessed with DMs for the last forever. In my lifetime, right? In my, 30 plus years. We've had Kante, Makalele, we've got Caicedo, we've had Essien, John Obi Mikel goes in that list because he did a job there. Matic has been there. We've just always been blessed with really good DMs. And seeing Moises Caicedo just being unbelievable every single game for well over a year. No one talks about his price tag anymore because he just is that good. He is that good. Now, let's be honest. First, 6 or 7 months when he first signed, he was trying to find his feet and he was making some mistakes. Let's not say that he's been perfect because he hasn't. He had to find his feet. Since he has, he's the best DM in the world right now currently. The guy is an absolute machine. And that's the shining light of that game yesterday. Now, we'll obviously say, like I said in the video yesterday, the likes of Palmer, Nicholas Jackson, Neto, I think Noni Madueke had a little bit of an impact in parts, but he couldn't really do much. They all made a difference when they came on. Cucurella only had like 10 minutes, but it still looked a lot more positive than playing Reece James left back, in my opinion. But Moises Caicedo is just that consistent. That guy doesn't get a break. He has an engine on him. He just runs and runs and runs and runs. And he was the shining light of yesterday. So fair play, Moises, man. You just keep doing you, because without you, man, we would fold like deck chairs. And that brings us on to the next part of the video, which is no wins in our last 8 Premier League away games. 0-0 versus Everton, 2-0 loss away at Ipswich, 1-1 versus Palace, 3-1 loss at City, 3-0 against Brighton, 2-1 at Villa, 1-0 at Arsenal, 0-0 versus Brentford. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest. There's a couple of games in there we know are going to be tough. 3-1 at City, right, we could have put up a better fight. The game was there for the taking, but even on paper, you're not expecting to go get a result at the Etihad. Maybe a draw, but you're not going there expecting to win, right? So cool, you would kind of allow that. Everton's always a bit of a bogey team for us, so a point I think is a good draw. After watching the game, though, we had some good saves to keep us in it, but we just weren't good enough. We could have got 3 points. The Arsenal game, I still think it was a draw we could have got in that game. I really do think we could have got in that game. Brentford, I think we should have gone for the 3 points. Brighton is embarrassing. Straight up embarrassing. A 3-0 loss at Brighton is just absolutely embarrassing. We were bossed off the park. Palace has always been a bit of a tricky fixture for us, especially at Selhurst Park. So I'm not mad at that. And obviously a 2-0 loss away at Ipswich is unbelievably embarrassing just because they're relegation fodder. They're relegation fodder. These are all games where we could have picked up extra points, where it's down to goalkeeping errors or just the team not turning up and playing better football, or just looking like they couldn't be bothered. Is that the players? Is it Maresca? Is it a joint of both? Who knows? I'd say it's a joint of both, but no wins on our last 8 Premier League away games is getting very concerning considering the run of games that we have between now and the end of the season. I believe we've got Ipswich at home. Obviously, in between that, we've got the League of Warsaw, first leg, second leg, and then everything just becomes like a Champions League final for us, every single game. Within that, we've got Liverpool, United, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest away. Like, it's just got a real tough run of games to finish the season, and this just type of thing just doesn't fill us with confidence. Something needs to change massively. Hopefully, Maresca's weird lineup and tactics and the way he was thinking at the Brentford game pays off in the Conference League. We go smash League at Warsaw, and then we can take that momentum and beat Ipswich at home And I don't know, maybe we can get some momentum going through to the semis if we can actually perform and beat Liga Warsaw, beat Ipswich. That's then 3 games with 3 wins. Things slowly look a lot better, and then we go into that really hard run. I don't know, but the way that Chelsea are playing, the way Maresca's playing these games, I don't know, I just don't feel as confident as I was. And yeah, it's getting into crunch time, the business end of the season. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Moving on to a potential transfer ban or points deduction. Matt Law has reported that Chelsea remain confident that they will not be hit with a points deduction or a transfer ban as the club wait for the outcome of the Premier League investigation into payments made under Roman Abramovich's ownership. This would be a real kick in the teeth if we get a points deduction or a transfer ban based on previous ownership, based on what Roman Abramovich was doing, because the new owners, as much as we don't like them, we don't like the way they're running things, they knew nothing about it. They actually found it and went, we don't think this is right. Like, can you look into it? Which, you know, some people say, why did you do that? Just carry on. But, you know, if they're cooperating with the Premier League, say, look, we've just come into this, you know, sort of blank canvas type thing. We found these, can you check it out? I think that just makes us look a lot better on that front of like, oh, we don't think these are actually above board. What's the plan? And I feel like if a points deduction probably seems one of the fairest, and a big fine. A transfer ban, I mean, to be fair, we could call out for a transfer ban because, mate, it is like a circus. It's a revolving door of players coming in and out every single window. So it might do us a bit of good, to be fair. However, we do know that there are areas in this team that need improving. So having a transfer ban or even a points deduction, you know, whether it's the end of this season or the start of next, it's just a bit of a kick in the teeth because this new ownership is doing things their way, whether we agree with it or not. We're slowly making momentum. We are a different Chelsea. It's a different era. So to be stung for something that's nearly like 4 years ago is a bit like, okay, cool. Like, there's not really much we could have done about that. Whereas if Roman was still there, it would have made sense. He was we love Roman. We love everything he's done. Of course we do. And of course there's a few things that probably weren't above board. Let's be honest, otherwise wouldn't be under investigation. But he was still the custodian of Chelsea, the owner of Chelsea. It kind of makes a lot more sense. And you kind of go, well, he is still there. He made the mistakes. He pays the price. But for someone else to pay the price because the old owner isn't there, I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. But again, you know, it's not our decision to make. Curious to know your thoughts in the comments about what you think the outcome would be. What do you think is the fair thing for the FA, the Premier League, to do regarding this situation? We could get away with it scot-free because they might say, actually, there's nothing we can do about it. These are actually legit, or, you know, it's not really your problem, but we can take it into consideration for anything else that you slip up on and we can add it to that. I don't really know, but it would just be a massive kick in the teeth if we did face points deduction or a transfer ban based on this. Moving on to what Mark Ogden reported, which is Manchester United will rival Chelsea in the race to sign Liam Delap this summer. This is very interesting. I've had a lot of people in my TikTok comments saying that Delap isn't good enough. He's not Prem experienced. We don't need him. Even people in the YouTube community were saying, no, we need Osman, we need Isaac, we need, you know, Osman. Everyone just seems to talk about Osman. To the point where people think I've got a problem with Osman. I don't have a problem with Osman. All I keep reiterating to people is Chelsea are refusing to pay the wage demands. And, you know, I think he's a fantastic striker. Chelsea won't pay the wages. It's as simple as that. And it's a hard pill to swallow. I get it. I think he'd be great in the Premier League. And I think he'd do good in Maresca's system with the players who got around and creating chances, which is not going to pay his wages. So I've tried to move away from that. And I do think that the profile Liam Delap does work. People are saying he's not got no Prem experience. He scored 12 Premier League goals for Ipswich this season, who are relegation fodder. People go, yeah, it's only 12 goals. That's seriously impressive. It's impressive to have your first season in the Prem, score 12 goals for a club that's going down. Imagine the chances he would have to finish in our squad. He's a natural finisher. He's got the right profile. He can make the right runs. He can hold the play up well. He can actually shoot, which is something we're actually crying out for people to do more of. He's just a natural finisher. I think it makes sense. And if he's got a release clause of 40 million if they get relegated, it's also cheap. If we triple his wages, he'd still be on less than 100 grand a week as well. I think it makes sense under this transfer policy. And of course, you want to go for someone like Isaac or Osman or Gyökeres and just chuck loads of money. But we all know that the ownership just isn't going to do that under their regime. They're just not going to do that. So be interesting to see if Delap would rather go to Manchester United or Chelsea. Now, obviously, we are Chelsea. This is a Chelsea channel. People are going to say, well, why would he go to United? Two of the biggest clubs in England. So regardless of where they're finishing this season, it could come into play. You know, if we qualify for Europe, Delap can say, oh, I can go play Champions League football at Chelsea. But it'd be very interesting. I just thought it was interesting. Arsenal are going for Osman. They're also asking questions about Isak and Gyökeres, just like everyone else. Delap, they haven't really looked at, but United are like, yeah, we want him to be our #1 priority. Chelsea are like, yeah, we want to get him. So it'll just be very interesting to see how it plays out. But let me know your thoughts below. Do you want Liam Delap? Do you not? Do you want him to go to United? Or would you be happy with him at Chelsea? And lastly, I have some stats regarding Wesley Fofana. Now, we all know that he's now injured till after the Club World Cup because he ignored medical advice like a silly boy. He rushed himself back. They said you weren't going to come back. I think it was until like April. He was like, nah, I'm coming back in March. Don't know what you're on about. He's now had like surgery because he injured himself, and now he's out past the Club World Cup. I found some interesting stats. All right, so we bought Wesley Fofana in the year 2022 in the summer window for £70 million. Now, the 22-23 season, he played 20 games. 23-24 season, he played 0 games because he had a big injury. And then this season, he's played 14 games and he's out for the rest of the season, which in total means he's played 34 games in 3 seasons. What is it with Chelsea and injury-prone players? And Chelsea have now coined this famous saying, insert player when they are fit. That is just a Chelsea saying now. Reece James, Nkunku, well, maybe not Nkunku this year, but previous was, great player when he's fit because he was out for long-term injuries. Lavia, who else have we got in there? You got Fofana, Reece James, Lavia, I say Nkunku as well. They're the main culprits, really. They're the main culprits. They're made of glass. Reece James has been on a really good run of form in terms of staying fit, the longest he's been in years. And, Maresca is doing very well managing his minutes. That is credit that he is deserved. What do we do with Wesley Fofana? What do we do with Romeo Lavia? £70 million, 34 games in 3 seasons. Romeo Lavia, £45 million, and he's only played, I think it's like 14 games, 7 of which he only played a half of football, and the other 7 games he played just over a half, but not quite 90. It's a lot of money. I mean, I don't think wages are particularly huge, in the grand scheme of the footballing world. But what do we do with these players? Because you can't offload injured players. All right, who is in their right mind is going to come in and go, you paid 70 million, we'll give you 85 million for Wesley Fofana. He's insane. We don't mind if he's going to play 14 games of a season. Do Saudi come in? Is that a viable option? Do we offload him? Or do we just cut the loss, right, sell them for cheap? Or even better, we keep them and just kind of forget about them until they recover fully, give them a long time of recovery to then play them in bit part throughout the season, and then we actually buy replacements for them that are more readily available. Someone like Mark Gahey, for example, right? You get another Murillo who comes in at centre-back to partner Colwell or Chalobah or Badish or whoever it's going to be next season, who can play more consistently. And when Fofana is fit, you kind of sprinkle him in every now and then. I really don't know what you would do. I really don't know what to do with some people like Fofana and Lavia. Because again, as that famous Chelsea saying, when they are fit, they are amazing. They're just barely fit. And it really does suck with Fofana, because this season when he has been fit, and I know I've just said that as a joke, but he has actually been a very good centre-back for us. Confident on the ball, driving forward, recovery defender, like always sorts of gets us out of trouble when, say, Colwell or whoever's he partnered with is overcommitted or whatnot. He's been very, very good, but he's ignored medical advice. He's now injured for a long time. He's had the surgery. It went well. He's now recovering. But what do we do? What do we do in the summer? Do we just kind of go, yeah, keep them, hope they recover? Do we try and offload them for cheap and cut the loss? I don't know. You tell me in the comment section below. So that's all the latest Chelsea news for today. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this far to the end of the video, there'll be a thumbnail that pops up on the screen. So if you do like Chelsea content and you enjoyed this video, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.